Hi, we're going to talk about photosynthesis really briefly here. I just want to introduce it to you and tell you what happens in the photosynthetic process. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process of plants taking up energy from the sun and converting it into actual matter. The main things you have to remember are why photosynthesis is so important for our ecosystem, and secondly, what goes in and what comes out of the system. So when we have photosynthesis, we're putting light into the system. Plants are taking up that light, sunlight from the sun, and they're converting it into organic matter. So along that process, they're also taking up CO2 from the atmosphere, and they're releasing oxygen. Okay, let's take a look in a little bit more detail. Here's the diagram that I just told you, right? Sunlight plus carbon dioxide and water. And then there's the process of photosynthesis that the plant does, and then what you end up with is glucose, which is a sugar, and that sugar ends up being incorporated into the plant biomass and used in the plant as energy, and oxygen, which is covered up there, but I promise you is oxygen. So here's where photosynthesis happens in the plant, happens in these chloroplasts inside the leaf, and they're green. That's what makes the leaves look green. Why is photosynthesis so important? So this is really what I want you to understand. Plants are converting sunlight into organic material. We can say that they are storing chemical energy in organic compounds. The sugar, that glucose molecule at the end, supplies energy for plant and also supplies the carbon. So plants have taken carbon from the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, and converted it into a sugar molecule which has carbon in it, and then that can be incorporated into other molecules that the plant is made out of. So it's going to create the skeleton of the plant. It's going to make the biomass of the plant. And they'll use the excess sugar as starch and other structures of the plant. Additionally, in addition to taking CO2 out of the atmosphere, plants are putting oxygen back into the atmosphere. And why do we love oxygen? Because we use it, right? Photosynthesis is the process that feeds the biosphere, right? So we're converting sunlight, that's the source of energy on Earth, into chemical energy that can be used by other organisms in the ecosystem. So directly or indirectly, photosynthesis nourishes almost the entire living world. This is the most important part, the second most important part of this little series that I want you to understand. So the most important part is for you to understand why photosynthesis is so important. This is also the second most important element. What goes into photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide and water. So here we have CO2 and H2O. And what do we get out? On the left we have a sugar molecule. In the middle we have water molecules. And then on the right we have oxygen. And that's all you need to know about photosynthesis. So if you take a look at the number of molecules that we're looking at there, the math adds up, right? So we end up with the same amount of atoms that we started with, but they're all in a different form. Instead of in the form of carbon dioxide and water, now we have sugars, oxygen, and water. So the plants have rearranged all of those atoms with the help of energy from the sun and converted that water and that gas into sugar molecule and oxygen. Conservation of energy, right? The same number of atoms that came in is leaving that reaction. It took some energy in the process to catalyze that reaction to happen. Okay, that's what I want you to know about photosynthesis.